Grab your drinks and have a seat. It's time for serial killers.
Hello.
Hello.
We're here.
Yes.
And by
We are here.
I mean I'm T.
And I'm Jay.
And we are here to tell you a story about
A serial killer.
killers. All right, PSA real quick. Last time you heard from us, we said, hey, we're going to be moving and, yada, yada. So we moved. And if you hear noises in the background, we are not in our new podcast room quite yet because we just moved in. So we're actually sitting. Let me paint the picture for you. I am sitting on a bed. Jay is sitting in a chair. We happen to be sitting in our son's bedroom, who is 23 years old, college student, and his room literally looks like what you'd expect a dorm room to look like. He's got all kinds of stuff. His room is the only room in the house that we could be in that potentially might not have any sort of echoing when we talk right now. So that's why we're here. But he does have what's that thing called?
Air purifier.
He has an air purifier going. So if you hear like a hum in the background, there's that. Also, there's a dog that likes to bark a lot in the backyard. And I can't stop those things. So not ideal quite yet. And I don't know if it ever will be because unfortunately our podcasting room is even closer to the barking dog. So we shall see what happens.
But
we're here.
We are here. Yeah.
We are here and we are moved and we are trying to get into the norm.
I like to tell people because they're like, oh, are you all moved in? We are moved. We are just not unpacked yet.
We are not unpacked yet, but that's okay. We're working on it and we're just trying to get our norm. And then one other thing, and then we'll jump into it. I am going to take this moment real quick. Normally I would literally never do this, but I'm on a fucking roll. Okay. This is a shout out to anybody listening. If you're moving anytime soon, do not ever use pods moving in storage to move.
Yep. Do not use them.
We used them to move because we had a 2-month time frame where we would not have a house to move into or live in. And right now we are currently, to tell it to you short, the pickup was fine. The drop off was terrible. They left the pods in our driveway for like 6 days longer than they were supposed to. And actually they wouldn't have even come except for Jay kept calling and fighting with them because they would not pick them up and we couldn't park in our driveway. And it was a really big thing. But that is whatever. They have charged us money and we have not gotten that money back. And they said that it was going to come back. They lie. And so I think we're going to have to do a charge back on our credit card to get the money back because it's not coming back. And when I talked about this on my socials, I found out that this is common practice for pods moving in storage. So don't use them. Don't use them. You can use Pack Rat. You can use U-Haul does the same thing. Go to one of them. So that is my really quick PSA because I'm really upset about it and I'm tired of like companies ripping people off. So I'm just taking every platform I have to just share this information so that maybe you won't make the same mistake that we did. Anyways.
We make the mistake so you don't have to.
Correct. So we start out every episode to tell you what we're drinking as per usual. So that would be, Jay, what are you drinking?
It is back. Now that we're moved in, one of the first things I bought was Milo's sweet tea, 0 calorie.
0 calorie sweet tea.
Got a glass of iced tea right now.
Uh-huh. So that's Jay's drink of choice. And my drink of choice right now is a 0 sugar Dr. Pepper, which I don't drink soda very often, but today was an occasion. Because I just didn't, I've been trying to drink a lot of water. Wanted something a little bit different. One final thing, two final things. One, I'm going to real quick again tell you that we are still working on our Patreon. because the move. We have not had time to sit down and start planning out all the things that we want to do, but some things will be coming in the future. And I say future as in like not near future. I say future as in it's coming, but we are not in a point where we could tell you exactly what we're doing. Because
we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated. Jay has gone officially back to work, so we've got limited time. And surprise, surprise, your girl, we canceled Crime Bitches. If you were a Crime Bitches listener, Crime Bitches is no longer. And no, it's not because I don't like my daughter. It's because we don't live close to each other, and she's got a life and she's got school and all kinds of things. And we thought it was best if we stopped it. It made us both sad. It made us both sad that we couldn't do it, but we stopped it. However, yeah, I'll be doing something else coming soon with my son because I really enjoyed doing spooky stuff. So I'm going to be doing a spooky type creepy podcast with him. But again, that's not quite ready yet. I will definitely tell you about that once we are set up with that as well. Anyways, that is not what we're here to talk about. We are here to tell you the story about a serial killer, which I'm sure is what you're waiting for.
Yes, we are.
Before I get into it, I have to trigger warn this one, which I hate it, but I have to. I feel like I've been doing like all the ones I've been doing. I've had to do like trigger warnings on, and I apologize for that. But this episode does have to do with the rape and murder of children and young girls specifically. So I do not go into any major details, but I just want you to know that this person only went after young female children. So that is who we're going to be talking about. Like I said, I keep details out of it, but I need to let you know that if you are not wanting to listen to anything that has to do with the murder of children, the rape and murder of children, molestation, pedophilia, turn it off. And we will hopefully catch you next week where maybe I can do one that's not a trigger warning, because I don't know why all of them are trigger warnings all of a sudden, but here we are. So this week we're talking about a man named Robert Black. Now, Robert Black was nicknamed Smelly Bob.
Well, shower, bitch.
He had 4 victims, and his murder dates are 1969 to 1990. His location of murders are Scotland, Ireland, and Britain.
69 to 90, that's a big spread.
Well,
and I'm sure we'll hear why.
We're going to say 4 or more. I guess I should say 4 or more. 4 or more. I'm leaning more towards more.
Yeah.
I'm not even playing. His method of murder is strangulation, and characteristics of his murder is pedophilia and rape. So Robert was born April 21st, 1947 in Grangemouth, Scotland. His mother was Jessie Black and his father was unknown. And the plan was she was going to put him up for adoption before she moved to Australia. So she was checking out and she was just putting his ass up for adoption. However, she did not ever complete the actual proper adoption paperwork. So he couldn't be put up for adoption. But she left him anyways. So she said bye. And then they said, oh no, we don't have the paperwork and they don't know where she is. So
she said, I'm not coming back.
She doesn't care. So Robert instead is given to a foster family. So he goes into the foster care system. And his foster care parents are Jack and Isabel Tulip. And he was given to them at the age of 6 months old. Now, during this time, which I don't understand. I don't understand leaving your child at 6 months old. That's just crazy to me, but okay. Now, during this time, he was given their surname. So he actually went by Robert Tulip starting at that time at 6 months old. Now, from an early age, Robert showed signs of aggressive behavior and antisocial behaviors. He had very few friends. He would oftentimes throw tantrums for no reason. He was bullied by his peers, and this ends up leading him to become a bully as well. But he would only bully kids that were smaller and younger than him. He wouldn't pick on everybody. He would pick on the ones he knew he could bully and not have a retaliation. Now, at the age of 5, he discovers the difference between body parts of a girl and a boy. So him and a little girl at 5 years old show their body parts. And he realizes his body parts look different than hers.
An Audi versus an innie.
There we go. Now, after this, he became overtly interested in female genitalia. So basically from the age of 5, he became extremely interested in the fact that the female genitalia looked very different than his. He also did say that it made him question if he was born in the right biological sex, right? So he was very interested. He also then became very interested in other orifices of the body, including his own. Now, many people in the community would report multiple times that they would see him throughout the town, and he would have bruises on his face and all over his body. Now, this led to the speculation that he had been being physically abused by his foster parents. However, later in life, he is asked about this, and his response was, I actually don't remember how those bruises came. I don't really have any recollection. My guess would be maybe I was fighting. Like, he never said that he was physically abused. However, he did say that he was a chronic bedwetter as a child. And he said that anytime I would wet the bed, my foster mother would berate me and beat the shit out of me for it. So he didn't say that he was physically abused all the time, but he was saying that anytime that he wet the bed, he would be abused or beaten, but that's abuse, right? You don't beat somebody up because they wet the bed. Like, that's not a thing. I mean, it's a thing, but that's a bad thing. And so my guess would be he was probably physically abused. And because of the way our brains work, we like to block out some of those badass fucking shit that happens. That's my guess of probably why he doesn't have a reason that he would remember getting specific bruises. Now, in 1958, both of Robert's foster parents die. And so he is then placed into another foster home. And not too long after he's in this foster home, he commits his first sexual assault of a young girl. So he drags this girl into a public restroom where he assaults her. Now, this incident does get reported to the social workers by his foster mother, because his foster mother finds out that he attacks this girl. And she immediately contacts the social workers and basically says, get him out of my house. I do not want somebody like that in my house. Now, this is 1958. Again, he was born in 1947. So he's 11 years old when this happens. And so she's like, get him out. I don't want any of that shit in my house. So they take him and they place him in a children's home. Okay. Full stop. If you are taking a child out of a foster home because they sexually abused another child, a female child, are you going to put them in a fucking children's home with male and female children living there? Probably not. But yet,
they did.
That's what they did. So while he's living in this children's home, he would regularly expose himself to the girls in the home. So he would regularly drop his pants and show them his genitalia. He would walk in the rooms with them. At one point, he walked up to a girl and pulled her underwear off. So he was not exactly fit to be in this home. Because of these incidences, they were like, oh, maybe this isn't the place for you. So they make him move into the Red House Care Home, which is an all-male home. It's for boys only. And it was in this home that Robert Black was repeatedly sexually abused by a male staff member. This abuse went on for 3 years. The only reason why the abuse stopped is because the male staff member who was abusing him regularly died. They say of natural causes. I believe it. Okay. So he went from everything's just worse. It's just worse and worse. And I can't even feel bad necessarily. I mean, I feel bad that he went through these things, but he from a very young age was showing aggressive and antisocial behavior, chronic bedwetting. These are all things that it's like, okay, he kind of was, this is where you would say he was probably born with a bad apple. The circumstance of his life made it worse, but he is one of the people that I'd probably go, I mean, his life sucked, but he probably would have turned out to be a killer even without the life situation, right?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So in 1963, Robert leaves the home. He leaves the Red House Care Home, and he becomes a delivery boy for a local butcher. And during this same year, Robert lures a 7-year-old girl to an air raid shelter where he chokes her until she passes out, and then he assaults her after she has passed out. He is actually arrested for this, and he is charged for this. He is also forced to undergo psychiatric evaluations before he can attend court. So they basically wanted to see if he was fit to stand trial, and they wanted to see if he had anything wrong that would make it sentencing wise. Should he be in a psychiatric facility, treatment center, whatever. So the psychiatric evaluation makes it to where they said, oh, well, we deem this to be an isolated incident, and we don't think any treatment is necessary. We don't think he's going to harm anybody else, so I think he's okay. So he's let go. He doesn't even get nothing. He gets nothing at all. He doesn't get charged with anything else. He just walks away. After this, he moves to Grangemouth, where he lives with an elderly couple. Now, while he's living with this elderly couple, the couple finds out that Robert has been molesting their 9-year-old granddaughter. However, they do not report this to police because supposedly they said they did not want the little girl to have to deal with a police interrogation. To my brain, I'm kind of like, but that means he got away with it.
And she's already dealt with
and
so
she's
much.
already,
like,
now you're just showing her that you're supposed to hide it when something bad happens. Okay, cool. So they do, however, kick Robert out of their home. Oh, fucking K, right? So off he goes. So after he gets kicked out of their house, he moves to Kinlochleven. I hope I said that right. I liked it, but I don't know if that's how you say it. And he lives there with a couple who also happens to have a 6-year-old daughter. He molests her as well, and the couple finds out about it. And this time they do report him to the police. And he is charged and found guilty of 3 counts of indecent assault.
See, and like, I try to think about that, and if we were in that position,
he would not have made it out of that house.
No. Like, I don't know
I can
how
tell you
these
that right now.
parents can...
He would not
or
have
grandparent, like, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you right now, he would not have made it out of the house. He would be just a missing person, and that's all there is to it. And I would not know what happened to him. That's what would happen. That's what
and even if they did found him, I'd be like,
I'd
yep,
take
I
me to
did
jail.
it.
That's fine. I don't care. So because of this conviction, he was sent to Borstal, which is like a prison rehabilitation center. And he is sent there to receive special treatment and rehabilitation services to help him, I don't know, not be a pedophile. Which, if you've been listening to us long enough, you know that I stand on the hill and I will die on the hill that pedophiles cannot be rehabilitated. So this is a worthless fucking thing to do. He should have just been in jail forever at that point. Now, on August 12th, 1981, so he does his fucking time. And on August 12th, 1981, Jennifer Carty, who is 9 years old, is abducted. She's riding her bike home from her friend's house. Her bicycle is found hours after her disappearance. Her parents don't even realize that she's gone until she doesn't show up for dinner. And she was abducted like in the daytime. When her bicycle is found, it is covered with leaves and branches. So you can completely tell that it was covered to try to hide it. Her body is found by 2 hunters 6 days after her disappearance. She is found 16 miles from her home. She had been sexually abused. She was drowned, and they believe she was also strangled with a ligature. She was 9. Then on July 30th, 1982, this right here is why I think there's definitely and more, because it's been a year. This motherfucker molested multiple children from the age of 11 years old, and he just went every year, just one a year. No, the fuck you didn't. Like, this is why there's definitely more. So July 30th, 1982, Suzanne Claire Maxwell, she's 11. She is also abducted. She was walking home, and she was last seen at 4:30 p.m. The following day after her disappearance, a major search party was assembled to look for her. I'm talking like 2,000 people were searching for this girl. On August 12th of 1982, so like 14 days later, a truck driver finds her body hidden in some undergrowth. She had been bound, gagged, and she also had been sexually assaulted. Then July 8th, 1983, so another year goes by. Carolyn Hogg, who is 5 years old, and she was his youngest victim. She was taken from outside of her home. Her family, when they realized that she wasn't outside anymore, they searched the neighborhood for her, couldn't find her, but they did find this little boy who said, oh yeah, I saw her with this bald guy. And so they went over to where they were searching for him, or where he had seen them last, and they started to search. And again, like a shit ton of people went out to try to find this little girl. People also came forward and said that they had seen Caroline at a nearby fair with their description was a balding, bespectacled man. Carolyn's body is found 10 days later. It's found in a ditch 300 miles from her home. Her body was in advanced stages of decomposition, so the cause of death was really hard to determine. Then March 26th, 1986, Sarah Harper, who was 10, she disappears. Now, she had been going to the store not far from her house. It wasn't very far from her house. She was going there to buy some bread. She was seen in the store by the person who runs the store owner. They said, no, she came in, she bought the bread, and this man came in, was in the store. She left. This man left, this bald guy. He left after she did. They also found 2 girls who said they saw her walking down the alley. They pointed out the direction and they said, that's where we saw her last. And the police realized, okay, that she was heading home. So she made it to the store, was walking back to her house. Her body is found April 19th, 71 miles away from her home. She had been bound, gagged, and was partially dressed. She had numerous injuries to her face, neck, head, and forehead, and she also had been sexually assaulted. July 14th, 1990. A man named David Herkes. He was outside of his home and he saw what he believed to be an abduction taking place. Like he was standing outside. He watches this van pull up. There's a little girl outside of her house and this van pulls up. This guy gets out of the van. Next thing he sees is the little girl's feet disappear off of the ground and the van takes off. So he immediately is like, that did not look right. Bravo, David, for paying attention.
Way to pay attention.
So David writes down the van's license plate number, right, as it's driving away. And he runs to the home that the little girl was out in front of. And he goes to the door, knocks on the door, and screams to the family, like, I think your little girl was just taken. You know, we need to call police. So they call the police. The police show up. David basically gives them all the information. Didn't see the guy driving, really. I mean, he saw him a little bit from the side, but it's not like he saw him head on who he was. But he knew the van. He knew the license plate numbers. He knew what the little girl looked like. And so he was telling the police officers all about it. And as he's telling them, this van is driving back down the road. And David screams at the police officers, that's him. Like, that's him. That's the guy. He's like yelling, like, that's the van. So the police immediately jump out in front of the van. Okay, they jump in because they're like standing taking statements, right? So they jump in front of the van. The van is forced to swerve to the side of the road. And as soon as the car pulls over, they fucking open the door and rip Robert Black out of the car and throw him on the ground. Now, I read a couple of reports that said that one of the police officers who happened to scurry his ass to the scene was actually the little girl who disappeared. It was her dad. I read a couple of reports that had said that her father was a police officer. He got the report, he got the address and said, fuck, that's my house, and went there. And so he was the one that after they ripped the guy out of the car, Robert, and put him on the ground, he jumped in the back of the van and started yelling out for his daughter. She did not she was like, she didn't answer, right? So as he's in the van looking for this little girl, he finds her stuffed into a sleeping bag in the back of the van. Her wrists and legs are tied and sticking plaster. I don't know what sticking plaster is. But it was used to gag her so she couldn't speak. And there was a hood over her head. She did live, but it was discovered that she had been sexually assaulted. She was like 7 years old. So they bring him in. They start interviewing him. And as they're interviewing him, they start to notice that there are some similarities between this abduction of this little girl, how she was found in the van, even though she had not died, and a couple murders that they had found from in other areas that are very similar. So they go to the homicide detectives that are in charge of these cases, and they say, listen, we have this guy. This is what happened. He abducted this girl. She was sexually assaulted, da, 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 da. And the detective's like, let me go talk to him. So the detective goes in and talks to him. Now Robert did not give him any information. Robert did not admit to anything. He gave him no information that would even remotely make him think anything other than he walked out of the interview and said, that guy fucking killed those girls. Like, he won't say that he did it, but he absolutely killed those girls. So on August 10th, 1990, Robert Black goes to trial for the abduction and sexual assault of the young girl. He actually pled guilty to those charges. He didn't, how you gonna not?
What are you gonna,
You're not gonna, so what are you gonna do?
How'd she get back there?
Exactly. And he is sentenced to life imprisonment. And that was because 2 different psychiatrists met with him. And both of them deemed that he would always and forever be a danger to children. Very different than his first psychiatric visit. Now, after he is sentenced, he is relentlessly interviewed about the murder of the 3 girls, of the 3 girls, the 3 girls that were in the surrounding area. He never admits to anything. He refuses to admit anything. He doesn't give them any information. Now, in May of 1991, the Crown is given evidence that they want to use to prosecute him for these murders. Now, it's like the United States where we do preliminary trials, right? So basically, the prosecuting attorneys submit a bunch of evidence that they have that said, hey, we think this guy is responsible for these 3 girls' murders. We would like to try him for murder. And then the Crown goes over the information, and then they decide, yes, you can do this, or no, you cannot. So the Crown is given all the information. And in March of 1992, the Crown allows him to be tried. They feel that there's evidence there that might prove that he could have killed these girls. So April 13th, 1994, his trial begins and he pleads not guilty. He is charged with murder, kidnapping, attempted kidnapping, and preventing the lawful burial of a body. So he is thrown like all these charges. He is found guilty on all charges on May 19th. He receives a life sentence for each of the charges with a minimum 35 years to serve on each murder. So 3 35-year sentences for the murders. 3 life sentences with a minimum of 35 on the murders. 3 life sentences, it says. So he basically 3 life sentences. And I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's 35 years and that's it, because it didn't say concurrent. It didn't tell me. And I want to say Europe is one of those countries that you can't be in jail. Like, they don't typically keep you in jail forever. But if not, you're looking at, what is that? 105 years minimum before you could get out if you were serving the 35,
Yeah.
right? So, but regardless, 35 years. So 1994, and he was born in 47. So
He'd be 47.
Okay, so he's 47 years old.
Add 35 years
so
onto that.
He's got to be in jail for till he's at least in his 80s.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
Yeah, 82.
Okay. Then on September 22nd of 2011, Robert went to trial again. And he went to trial this time for the murder of Jennifer Carty, which was the first murder that we had talked about. Now, he claimed that I may have been in the area at the time that this girl was murdered, but I'm not guilty. That's what he said. Now, he was once again found guilty and was given another life sentence with a minimum of 25 years served. So if you're keeping track, that is 4 life sentences plus the life sentence for the abduction of the little girl. So that's 5 life sentences with a minimum of 35 years on 3 of them and a minimum of 25 years on the other one.
Which makes me wonder, the abduction one, what's the minimum sentence on that one? Like, I wonder what their standard is when they say life.
Yeah, I would say that through the research I've done, it's always either 25 or 35. My guess would be probably 25 because it was not murder, right? It was attempted, so that would be my guess. Now, on January 12th of 2016, Robert Black died of a heart attack while he was in prison, and he was 68 years old. His body was cremated and no family members or friends attended the service. He never admitted to killing the girls. The closest that he ever came to an admission was he was actually asked by a psychiatrist why he didn't deny killing the girls. So people would say, like, did you kill these girls? And instead of saying, like, no, I didn't kill them, he'd say, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Or with the one girl, I may have been in the area, but I'm not guilty. Okay. And his reason was, the reason he did not deny killing the girls is because he said, and I quote, because I couldn't. So essentially telling you that he killed them, but he's not going to say he killed them. Okay. So that's Robert Black. I'd ask him shots. Of course.
Let's hear him.
So I'm sure you're wondering why he was called Smelly Bob. Because that's his nickname.
Yeah.
This is not nice, by the way. So everybody take fucking note. This is not nice. Learn from Bob's mistakes, okay? So his foster mother would really push him to take showers, keep himself clean, personal hygiene, all the things. And he said, no, thank you. No, thank you. He wouldn't. He refused, never took showers. So this led to him being called Smelly Bob Tulip throughout his entire life.
He likes all natural.
Listen, don't fucking make fun of people. That's all I'm saying. This could trigger something.
Yeah.
Now, Robert also admitted, again, while he's in jail talking to psychiatrists and shit, he admitted that when he was a delivery boy, remember when he became the delivery boy for the butcher shop? Well, he said, yeah, when I was a delivery boy for the butcher shop, I would sexually assault the young girls that I found were at home by themselves while I was delivering their meat. So yeah, that's just kind of what I did. Now, Robert also did reportedly have one girlfriend in his life. And apparently he proposed to her and everything. Like, it was a thing. And she said, no, thank you. And then she broke up with him right after that. And her reason was because she thought that he had very odd sexual demands and she didn't feel comfortable. And then apparently, according to him, this devastated the shit out of him. So he never had another girlfriend after that. Robert Black was also very forthcoming about his childhood. As he would go through psychiatric shit and talk to people, he was very forthcoming about his childhood. Why do you think I had so much background information?
Finally.
He was willing to talk about it. He talked about childhood. He talked about adolescence. He talked about everything. Talked about all the sexual abuse the molestation cases, the ones that they didn't even know about. He would very much so talk about them. However, he never would speak about his time at Borstal, the prison that he went to, the rehabilitation prison.
Yeah, can't. Or no, I was thinking of the red house or whatever.
No, because he even talked about that. That's how you find out, right? Now, many people have wondered, like, what kind of treatment did he receive there that he's not willing to talk about it? The only thing that he has ever said about Borstal is that he vowed to never be in prison again after leaving. Hence the reason why he started killing his victims. Which also makes you go, listen, Borstal, you might have created the serial killer.
Well, and back then, how they treated certain things.
Correct.
Shock therapy and shit like that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Their rehabilitation was most likely experimental things. And I'm not saying that I don't agree with any of that kind of stuff, but I'm not saying that he would have never been a serial killer. However, he specifically said that is the reason that he never went back to prison. That's what made him decide to never go back to prison. So if you would have not done those things, he would have probably always molested. Because again, once a pedophile, always a pedophile. But I don't know if he would have been a murderer. I do wonder, had he not been in Borstal and done whatever rehabilitation or therapies or treatments, as they put it, special treatments, would he have killed the children? Because up to that point, he had never killed anybody.
Right.
He was literally molesting little girls, but never killed them. And then he insinuates that the reason he was killing is because he never wanted to go back to prison. So think about that when you think about tough love. No, not tough love, because tough love's okay. But when you think about prison and people saying that, oh, prisons need to be so harsh, this is why I disagree with that. This is exactly why, because this is goes right along the lines of somebody goes into prison and they come out worse than when they went in. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You did things to this person because, like you said, in the time, they thought you could shock therapy pedophiles. Instead of just admitting that, like, oh no, we just need to have like a lifetime prison sentence where they just live their life in prison and never get out to harm anybody anymore. Instead of harming and hurting them and making their prison sentence so terrible that they just get to become better criminals when they get out.
Well, and I just think of that time and what they would do to help get rid of gay feelings.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because they're like, we're going to change your thought process of who you're attracted to.
Do you know they still do that?
Yeah, and so
Crazy.
it's like that's where I'm saying is it was probably along the same lines as that.
They still, and I think there's even still some states that feel that way, that they feel that they can use special treatments on pedophiles to make them not have those feelings. And that's just not how it works. I have yet to see a pedophile go through a treatment and not still get those feelings. And pedophiles should just not be allowed to be out of prison.
People bring up castration, and even then it's not going to change your thought process. Yeah, exactly. Right? And you don't need a penis to do bad things.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So it's like that's why to me, I'm like, I just feel like, what I feel like? I feel like we should have jails that are literally just for pedophiles. Just pedophiles. I'm just saying, I feel like we should have like jails that are specifically for pedophiles, not where they coexist in their cells together. But I'm talking about and I'm literally saying, hear me clearly, pedophiles. I'm not saying rapists, and I'm saying pedophile. I think rapists are terrible too, but pedophiles are the worst of the worst. I hate pedophiles more than I hate serial killers. I hate pedophiles, I think, the worst out of all the criminals I do, because you're targeting innocent children. Yeah. Yep. So for me, a pedophile should never, one time. That's it. You get caught. When you get caught, that's your only chance. You don't get a second chance. You don't get rehabilitation. You don't get special treatment therapies. You don't do any of that. You go to a special prison that is literally made for pedophiles to live in for the rest of their life.
Straight to jail.
By themselves.
Do not collect your $200.
Seriously, by yourself. Go. And because I don't think pedophiles should be able to sit there and share stories either. So I'm saying, like, yeah, it's a lonely life. That's what you get for being a pedophile.
100%.
And I know that sometimes, and most times, pedophilia is a mental disorder that you can't help, but more of a reason to keep you locked away. That's literally my point. Mm-hmm. Same way I feel about people who commit crimes that have mental health issues that can't control what they're doing. You should be in a psychiatric facility for the rest of your life. That's what I'm saying. You can even build it not a prison. You can build it as a psychiatric facility. That's fine. Yep. Pedophile psychiatric facility. I do not know why the fuck we give pedophiles extra chances. This is a prime example. This guy was literally twice before he went out and did stuff was caught with doing pedophilia type activities, and it was like, whatever. Like, no. Anyways, these ones make me so mad. Mm-hmm. Now, Robert is also suspected of 6 murders in the United Kingdom, 1 murder in Ireland, 1 murder in Germany, 1 murder in Netherlands, and 4 murders in France.
Damn.
That would make more sense.
Yep.
Along his timeline. Now, while he was in prison in 1995, Robert was attacked by 2 inmates. And during this attack, he was bludgeoned, stabbed in the neck and the back. And he had a mixture of boiling water and brown sugar thrown on him, which is that's a concoction they make to...
Yeah, because it sticks to you.
Now, after Robert Black, listen, I'm not condoning vigilantism, okay? But...
Hey,
that's what you get when you put a pedophile in prison with regular people.
Inside those prison walls, they have their own rules.
Correct. So stop putting pedophiles in regular prison. Again, more of a reason to... Hello? Is anybody listening? Is this thing on? Like, seriously. I don't understand how we're still seeing these same things over and over. And it's like, but what? Anyways. Now, after Robert Black was found guilty of the murders as he was being led out of the courtroom. Okay, so here he is, the 3 murders, not the one in 2011, but the 3 murders. So he is handcuffed, taken to get ready out of the room, and he turns to the detectives that did the detective work, and he says to them, "Tremendous. Well done, boys."
Wow.
I'm like, what? Okay, bro. I'd be, if I was a detective, I'd be like, thank you. Like, you're welcome. Now, these are just a couple of quotes from Robert himself, and then you can use this to figure out how you feel about his character. Number one. No, not number one. It's all kind of one thing. "I'm not exactly proud of the way I feel towards young girls. There's a part of me that knows I'm wrong, that knows it's wrong, that I shouldn't be doing things like that. I shouldn't even be thinking things like that. But there's the other part that says, you like it, go on."
Gross.
So my point was, I think he was born as a bad apple. I think his life circumstances did not help his situation. But I really do think that he would not have turned into a serial killer had he not vowed to never go back to prison after going to Borstal. I think he would have been a pedophile. Yes. I think he would have harmed a lot of girls. Yes. But I don't know if he would have killed them. I think he would have just molested them, which is not any better, to be honest with you.
Yep.
However, take that for what you will. That is my opinion. And it's okay if you don't agree with my opinion, because as Salt and Peppa like to say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So it's okay to think different. Anyways, I'm like not doing good today. Can you tell? Can you tell I'm like not? I don't know what's wrong with me. Apparently I hate everybody. I apologize. I should not be rude because y'all just support and listen, which I find to be really nice. And I thank you so much for it. But I got an attitude problem, and I've got a big attitude today. So apologies if you find anything I say frustrating or offensive. Just think about Jay. He lives with this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like this right now a lot. Mm-hmm. I do wonder. It could be hormones. I am getting older. So we'll see how long this lasts. Anyways.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Thank you so much for listening to us tell you our stories. And as always, follow us if you're not following us. Most of you probably are at this point, which we appreciate. If you want to reach out to us or contact us, you can always reach out by email, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course our Patreon, which, like I said, there is a link on the bottom of our page that will bring you to Patreon if you're already on Patreon. You cannot find us. I have searched and searched Patreon. So the only way it seems like you can find us on Patreon is to type in patreon.com/Fatal Blend, and then you'll find us. I don't know why that is. So whatever. And we like hearing from you. So we appreciate all of it. Thanks for sticking with us. And especially during this weird ass time. Other than that, I just want to say thank you so much one more time for listening to us tell you the story of Robert Black, a.k.a. Smelly Bob Tulip. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Remember to lock your doors and bar your windows. Until next time.